Welcome to Stoic Vivu, where we make ancient philosophy practical for your modern life. If you've ever felt like your days are slipping away, like you're constantly reacting instead of living intentionally, you're in the right place. Our mission is simple: to transform timeless Stoic wisdom into daily practices that actually work in today's chaotic world. Here's the truth. You don't need another productivity hack or life-changing app. What you need is what Roman emperors and Greek philosophers figured out 2,000 years ago. Daily habits rooted in wisdom, not wishful thinking. Today, I'm sharing 11 daily Stoic habits that will fundamentally change how you live. These aren't just feel-good tips. They're battle-tested practices that helped Marcus Aurelius run an empire, Seneca navigate political turmoil, and Epictetus find freedom in slavery. You wake up, immediately grab your phone, scroll through anxiety-inducing news, rush through your morning, react to everyone else's priorities, and collapse into bed wondering where your day went. Sound familiar? The ancient Stoics would recognize this pattern. They called it living like a leaf blown by the wind, completely at the mercy of external forces. But what if you could wake up with clarity, move through your day with intention, and go to sleep knowing you lived according to your values? What if you had a set of daily practices so powerful that they could transform not just your productivity, but your entire character? That's exactly what these 11 Stoic habits deliver. The Stoics understood something we've forgotten. Transformation doesn't come from grand gestures or New Year's resolutions. It comes from small, daily practices that compound over time. As Zeno, the founder of Stoicism, taught, well-being is realized by small steps, but is truly no small thing. Each habit I'm about to share addresses a specific modern challenge through ancient wisdom. From the moment you wake up to the moment you rest your head, these practices create a framework for living with purpose, resilience, and peace, regardless of what chaos swirls around you. Whether you're struggling with digital overwhelm, decision fatigue, toxic relationships, or simply feeling disconnected from what matters, these habits offer a way forward. They're not about becoming emotionless or detached. They're about becoming unshakable while remaining deeply engaged with life. So let's dive into these 11 daily habits that transform ancient wisdom into modern practice, starting with the smallest yet most powerful principle of all. Habit 1. Start stupidly small every day. The Zeno 1% method. You're stuck in Chicago traffic, late for work again, and a voice in your head whispers, "I need to change my entire life." Stop right there. This is exactly where we all go wrong. The founder of Stoicism, Zeno of Citium, discovered the secret 2,300 years ago. Transformation happens through laughably small daily actions, not dramatic overhauls. Here's what Zeno understood that we've forgotten. Well-being is realized by small steps, but is truly no small thing. Think about that. The man who created an entire philosophical movement didn't say, "Transform yourself overnight." He said to take small steps, daily, consistently, boringly small steps. Let me paint you a picture. Sarah, a marketing manager in Manhattan, decided she'd become a morning person, meditate for an hour, journal, exercise, and meal prep, all starting Monday. By Wednesday, she was back to hitting snooze 6 times and grabbing coffee on the run. Sound familiar? Now meet David from Los Angeles. He decided to do 1 push-up every morning. Just 1. That's it. 6 months later, he's doing 50 push-ups, running 3 miles, and actually enjoys mornings. The difference? David understood the Zeno method. The ancient Stoics called this kata micron, according to the small. It means progress happens in increments so tiny that your mind can't resist them. Your brain is wired to protect you from big changes because change equals danger in our primitive wiring. But one push-up, your brain barely notices. 1 page of reading, no threat detected. 1 minute of meditation, your survival instincts stay asleep. Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man in the world, wrote in his private journal, "Be like the rocky headland on which the waves constantly break. It stands firm, and round it the seething waters are laid to rest." He didn't become that headland overnight. He built it daily, thought by thought, action by action, starting with the smallest practices. Here's how to implement the Zeno 1% method in your life starting today. First, choose one area where you want to grow, just one. Maybe it's fitness, maybe it's reading, maybe it's patience with your kids. Now, what's the absolute smallest action you could take in that direction? If you want to get fit, forget the gym membership. Your small step is 1 push-up. If you want to read more, forget finishing a book this week. Your small step is 1 page before bed. The magic happens through what Seneca called daily deposits in the bank of virtue. Each tiny action is a deposit. They seem insignificant individually, but compound interest is the most powerful force in the universe. And it works on habits too. That 1 push-up becomes 2. 2 becomes 5. 5 becomes a full workout, but it starts with 1. Consider this scenario. You're overwhelmed at your desk in downtown Seattle, drowning in emails and meetings. The old you would promise to completely reorganize your work life this weekend. The Stoic you'll process 1 email with full attention. Tomorrow, maybe 2. By month's end, you'll have an entirely different relationship with your inbox, built 1 message at a time. The Stoics understood that sustainable change must work with human nature, not against it. Epictetus taught, "No one can hurt you without your permission." This includes your own ambitious self trying to force massive changes. When you demand too much too fast, you're actually sabotaging your progress. Small steps protect you from your own impatience. Here's the crucial part most people miss. The size of the step matters less than taking it daily. Zeno walked the painted stoa, the covered walkway that gave Stoicism its name, every single day, teaching anyone who would listen. He didn't rent the Colosseum and give 1 massive lecture. He showed up daily, spoke to a few people, and built a philosophy that would outlast empires. Your 1% daily improvement might seem meaningless when Instagram shows people transforming their bodies in 30 days or building million-dollar businesses overnight. But the Stoics knew something these modern illusions hide. Real, lasting change is invisible for months before it becomes undeniable. As Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, "What brings no benefit to the hive brings none to the bee." Those dramatic transformations that don't last bring no real benefit. Your tiny daily steps do. The power of this method extends beyond personal habits. Imagine applying it to relationships. Instead of promising to be a better partner after another fight, you send 1 thoughtful text daily. Instead of vowing to call your parents more after months of silence, you start with a 2-minute call every Sunday. These micro-actions rebuild bridges that grand gestures can't repair. Therefore, starting tomorrow morning, no, starting right now, Identify your stupidly small step. Make it so easy that not doing it would be harder than doing it. Then do it tomorrow, and the next day. Let compound interest work its magic while everyone else burns out on their grand plans. Remember, Zeno built a philosophy that conquered the Roman Empire, one small teaching at a time. Building on this foundation of small daily actions, we can now explore how these tiny steps connect to something much deeper, your very identity. Habit 2. Decide who you are every morning. Identity before coffee. The alarm buzzes at 6 a.m. in your Brooklyn apartment. Before your feet hit the floor, before you reach for your phone, before that first desperate gulp of coffee, there's a critical moment. In that foggy space between sleep and waking, you're about to make the most important decision of your day. Who are you going to be? Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor, started each morning with this exact practice. In his private journal, later published as Meditations, he wrote, "When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly. But here's what most people miss. He wasn't being pessimistic. He was choosing his identity. I am the person who remains virtuous regardless of others' behavior." Consider Jessica, a software engineer in San Francisco. For years, she woke up thinking, "I'm not a morning person. I'm always behind. I'm bad with deadlines." Every morning, she unconsciously chose to be that person, and surprise, that's exactly who she became. Then she discovered this Stoic practice. Now, before her eyes fully open, she states, "I am disciplined. I am capable. I handle challenges with grace." Same person, same job, completely different life. The only change, her morning identity declaration. The Stoics understood something neuroscience only recently confirmed. Your brain believes the stories you tell it. When you declare your identity first thing in the morning, you're literally rewiring your neural pathways. Epictetus put it bluntly, "It's not things themselves that disturb us, but our judgments about those things." Your first judgment each day should be about who you are. Here's the practice. Before you check your phone, before you stumble to the bathroom, while still in bed, complete this sentence. Today, I am a person who. Make it specific. Make it powerful. Make it true to who you're becoming, not who you've been. Today, I am a person who stays calm in traffic. Today, I am a person who listens fully before responding. Today, I am a person who chooses healthy food. This isn't positive thinking fluff. The Stoics were ruthlessly practical. They knew that identity drives behavior more powerfully than willpower ever could. When you identify as a runner, getting up for that morning jog isn't a struggle. It's just what runners do. When you identify as a patient parent, taking a breath before responding to your toddler's tantrum isn't hard. It's who you are. Marcus Aurelius used this practice to manage an empire in crisis. Each morning, he reminded himself, "I have been made by nature for the service of others. Not I should serve others or I'll try to serve others. But I have been made for this. Identity, not intention. Being, not trying." Imagine this. You're lying in bed in your Miami condo, dreading another day of your soul-crushing corporate job. The old you would think, "I hate my life. I'm stuck. Nothing ever changes." The Stoic you declares, "I am someone who finds meaning in any situation. I am building skills for my future. I am in control of my responses. Same job, same challenges, but you've just changed the main character in your story. The ancient Stoics called this prohairesis, your faculty of choice, the one thing truly under your control. Every morning, you're exercising this faculty by choosing your identity before external circumstances start choosing for you. Seneca wrote, "Every new thing excites the mind, but a mind that seeks truth turns from the new and superficial to the old and profound." Your morning identity practice is that profound ancient practice. But here's where most people stumble. They make their identity declarations too vague or too ambitious. I am successful means nothing to your brain. I am someone who writes 1 page daily, gives clear marching orders. I am confident is empty. I am someone who speaks up once in every meeting, creates specific behavior. The Stoics were philosophers of action, not abstraction. This practice becomes even more powerful when you encounter challenges. Rush hour traffic on the 405 in Los Angeles? I am someone who uses delays for reflection. Difficult conversation with your teenager? I am someone who listens to understand, not to win. Unexpected project at work? I am someone who thrives on new challenges. You've pre-decided your response by pre-declaring your identity. The morning identity declaration also serves as armor against the world's attempts to define you. Social media wants to tell you you're behind. The news wants to tell you you're helpless. Your inner critic wants to tell you you're not enough. But you've already decided who you are before any of these voices get their chance. As Epictetus taught, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. The greatest wealth is knowing who you are before the world tries to tell you. Therefore, tomorrow morning, in that precious moment between sleeping and waking, claim your identity. Not who you were yesterday, not who others expect you to be, but who you choose to be today. Make it specific, make it actionable, and watch how your behaviors naturally align with your declared identity throughout the day. With your identity firmly established each morning, the next crucial step is protecting your mental clarity during the most important hour of your day. Habit 3. Guard your first hour like a Stoic emperor. Marcus Aurelius ruled over 50 million people across 3 continents. Wars, plagues, political intrigue. Every crisis imaginable landed on his desk. Yet he started each morning the same way, in complete solitude without a single external input, preparing his mind for the day ahead. If the most powerful man in the ancient world protected his first hour, what's your excuse? Here's the brutal truth. The moment you pick up your phone in the morning, you've surrendered your mental sovereignty. Those notifications, emails, and news headlines? They're other people's priorities invading your consciousness before you've even established your own. The Stoics had a word for this: slavery. Not physical chains, but mental ones. And they're far harder to break. Let me show you what this looks like. Tom, a financial analyst in Boston, used to grab his phone before his feet hit the floor. By the time he'd scrolled through emails, checked the market, and scanned the news, his cortisol was spiking and his mind was racing with other people's emergencies. He hadn't even brushed his teeth, yet his day was already hijacked. Then he tried the Stoic emperor's approach. Phone stays off for the first hour. Period. No exceptions. Within 2 weeks, his anxiety decreased, his focus sharpened, and ironically, he became more productive by starting slower. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly." Notice what he didn't write. When you wake up, immediately check what those meddling, ungrateful people emailed you. He prepared his mind first, then engaged with the world. The practice is simple but not easy. Your phone doesn't get touched for the first 60 minutes you're awake. Not for just a quick check. Not for the weather. Not for that important message. Nothing. This isn't about being anti-technology. It's about being pro-sovereignty over your own mind. Here's what happens in your phone-free first hour. Your brain completes its natural wake-up cycle without artificial stimulation. Your cortisol rises naturally, giving you real energy instead of anxiety. Your subconscious processes the previous day and prepares for the new one. Most importantly, you get to be human before you become a reaction machine. Seneca understood this principle deeply. He wrote, "Life is long enough if you know how to use it. But when you start your day in reactive mode, life feels desperately short because you're always behind, always catching up, always responding." Your phone-free hour is where you reclaim time by starting ahead instead of behind. Imagine waking up in your Denver apartment. The old routine: reach for phone, see 17 urgent Slack messages, panic about that project, worry about that news headline, feel behind before showering. The Stoic routine: wake up, stretch, make coffee mindfully, sit with your thoughts, maybe journal, possibly read something meaningful. By the time you finally check your phone, you're centered, clear, and ready to engage with the chaos from a place of strength. But what about emergencies? The Stoics had an answer for that too. Epictetus taught, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Real emergencies are rare. That urgent email that arrived at 6:47 a.m. can wait until 7:30. That breaking news? It'll still be broken in an hour. That social media notification? Please, if something is truly urgent enough to interrupt your mental sovereignty, someone will call. Twice. The resistance you feel to this practice is revealing. But I need to check the weather. Look outside. But what if my boss emails? They can wait an hour. But I'll miss something important. You won't. These aren't reasons. They're addictions dressed up as responsibilities. The Stoics called this passion, not in the romantic sense, but as any emotion that controls you rather than the other way around. Here's how to implement this starting tomorrow. Put your phone in another room before bed. Buy an actual alarm clock. When you wake up, do not retrieve your phone until 1 full hour has passed. Use that hour for any combination of meditation, journaling, reading, exercise, contemplation, breakfast, or simply sitting with coffee and your thoughts. The activity matters less than the protection of your mental space. Marcus Aurelius used his protected morning hour to write what became Meditations, one of history's most influential books. He didn't set out to write a bestseller. He was simply processing his thoughts without distraction. Confine yourself to the present, he wrote, and that's exactly what your phone-free hour provides: presence. The modern world will tell you this is impossible, impractical, even irresponsible. These are lies told by a culture that profits from your distraction. Every app, every notification, every urgent message is designed to make you believe you can't live without constant connectivity. The Stoics knew better. True power comes from the ability to choose when and how you engage with the world, not from being perpetually available. This practice will feel uncomfortable at first. Your hand will unconsciously reach for your phone. Your mind will manufacture fake emergencies. You'll feel like you're missing something. Good. That discomfort is your addiction breaking. Stay with it. As Seneca said, every new thing excites the mind, but a mind that seeks truth turns from the new and superficial to the old and profound. Therefore, tomorrow morning, your first act of courage won't be checking your phone. It will be not checking it. Guard that first hour like Marcus Aurelius guarded Rome, with absolute determination. The empire of your mind depends on it. Having secured your mental fortress for the first hour, you're now ready to engage in the practice that turned a warrior emperor into a philosopher. Daily writing. Habit 4. Journal like Marcus Aurelius. 5 minutes changes everything. The most powerful man in the world sat alone in his tent on the Germanic frontier, writing by candlelight. Not battle plans or political strategies. Marcus Aurelius was journaling his personal thoughts. These scribbled notes, never meant for publication, became meditations, one of history's most influential books. The lesson: 5 minutes of daily writing can transform not just your life, but potentially the lives of millions who come after you. Here's what most people get wrong about journaling. They think it needs to be profound, lengthy, or perfectly written. Marcus Aurelius wrote things like, "Be like the rocky headland on which the waves constantly break, and the cucumber is bitter? Throw it away." Simple thoughts, daily observations, no fancy prose, just a human being working through life on paper. Let me introduce you to Maria, a nurse in Phoenix. She thought she didn't have time to journal, 12-hour shifts, 2 kids, endless responsibilities. Then she discovered the Marcus method. 5 minutes, 3 prompts, 0 pressure. Every morning after her phone-free hour, she writes, "What am I grateful for? What am I worried about? Who do I want to be today?" That's it. 5 minutes. In 6 months, she's handled job stress better, connected deeper with her family, and discovered patterns in her thinking she never noticed before. The Stoics understood that thoughts in your head are like clothes in a dark closet, jumbled, unclear, and impossible to organize. Writing is turning on the light. Seneca exchanged letters with his friend Lucilius not to be published, but to clarify his own thinking. "Every night," he wrote, "I examine my entire day and go back over what I've done and said, hiding nothing from myself, passing nothing by. Here's your practical framework. Get a simple notebook, nothing fancy, nothing intimidating. Each morning, after guarding your first hour, write for exactly 5 minutes. Use these 3 prompts. First, what's alive in me right now? Dump whatever's swirling in your mind. Second, what would wisdom do? Channel your inner Stoic sage. Third, how can I serve today? Focus on contribution, not consumption. The magic isn't in the writing, it's in the thinking that writing forces. When you write, "I'm anxious about the presentation," your brain shifts from feeling anxiety to observing it. When you write, "Wisdom would prepare thoroughly but accept any outcome," you're literally coaching yourself. When you write, I can serve by listening fully in meetings today. You're programming your behavior. Consider Alex in Seattle drowning in startup chaos. His mind raced constantly, fundraising, product launches, team drama. 5 minutes of morning journaling became his anchor. Not solving all problems, just acknowledging them on paper. Within weeks, his decision-making improved. Why? Because he'd already thought through scenarios in his journal. When crises hit during the day, he'd already rehearsed his Stoic response on paper. Epictetus taught, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." Journaling reveals your true wants versus your manufactured desires. When you write daily, patterns emerge. You notice you complain about the same things repeatedly. You see where you're making progress. You catch yourself before falling into old patterns. It's like having a personal philosopher in your pocket, except the philosopher is you. But here's the key: lower your standards. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The cucumber is bitter? Throw it away. Are there brambles in the path? Go around them. That is all. Do not add. Why do such things exist in the world?" That's literally emperor-level journaling. No profound insights, just practical observation. Your journal doesn't need to be deep. It needs to be done. The 5-minute limit is crucial. Longer, and it becomes a burden you'll eventually abandon. Shorter, and you won't reach the good stuff that emerges after pushing past the obvious. 5 minutes is the sweet spot, enough to matter, brief enough to sustain. Set a timer. When it rings, stop mid-sentence. Tomorrow's another day. What about digital journaling? The Stoics would say no. There's something about the physical act of writing that digital can't replicate. The slower pace forces deeper thinking. The inability to delete makes you more honest. The physical notebook becomes a tangible record of your growth. Marcus Aurelius didn't type his meditations. He carved them into existence with his own hand. Resistance will arise. "I'm not a writer." You're not trying to be. "I don't know what to say." That's why you have prompts. "I'll journal when things calm down." Things never calm down. Every excuse is your lesser self trying to avoid the mirror that journaling holds up. Push through. As Marcus wrote, "What we do now echoes in eternity." The transformation is subtle but certain. After 30 days of 5-minute journaling, you'll notice you're less reactive. After 60 days, you'll spot patterns in your behavior. After 90 days, you'll have rewired your morning mind. After a year, you'll have a handbook of personal wisdom you wrote yourself. Therefore, tomorrow morning, after your phone-free hour, open a notebook and write for 5 minutes. Not to impress anyone, not to solve everything, just to think on paper like a Roman emperor preparing for his day. Your future self will thank you. With your thoughts clarified through journaling, you're ready to discover how the evening before determines the morning after. Habit 5. Design tomorrow tonight. The Seneca evening setup. While Marcus Aurelius owned the morning, Seneca mastered the night. As advisor to emperors and one of Rome's wealthiest men, he understood that tomorrow's success is determined by tonight's preparation. Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end, he wrote. Your evening routine isn't just ending today, it's launching tomorrow. Here's what's killing your mornings. You're trying to make too many decisions with a foggy brain. What to wear, what to eat, what to tackle first. Each micro-decision drains your mental battery before the day truly begins. Seneca discovered the solution. Make tomorrow's decisions tonight when your mind is still sharp. Take Rachel, a lawyer in Miami. She used to spend mornings in chaos, searching for documents, deciding on priorities, remembering forgotten tasks. 20 minutes of evening prep changed everything. Now she reviews tomorrow's calendar, lays out her clothes, sets up her workspace, and writes 3 priorities on a note card. In the morning, Rachel wakes up to a day that's already designed. She just has to execute. Seneca wrote, "Begin at once to live, and count each separate day as a separate life." Your evening setup is how you give birth to tomorrow's life. It's not about rigidity or over-planning. It's about removing friction between you and your best intentions. The Stoics called this premeditatio, thinking ahead not to worry, but to prepare. Here's your Seneca evening setup, taking no more than 15 minutes. First, review tomorrow's reality. Check your calendar, not to stress about it, but to mentally rehearse. Visualize yourself moving through the appointments with calm competence. If you see a difficult meeting, decide now how you'll approach it. Don't leave your emotional response to chance. Second, prepare your physical environment. Set out tomorrow's clothes. Prep your breakfast ingredients. Place your journal and pen where you'll see them. Put your gym bag by the door. Each item you prepare tonight is a gift to your future self. As Seneca noted, luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. Third, write down 3 priorities for tomorrow, not 10, not 5, exactly 3. These aren't tasks like check email or attend meeting. These are meaningful moves forward. Complete project proposal. Have honest conversation with team member. Make progress on chapter 4. By limiting yourself to 3, you force clarity about what actually matters. Consider James in Chicago, constantly overwhelmed by his startup's demands. He used to lie in bed with his mind racing through tomorrow's infinite tasks. Now he does the Seneca setup. Before leaving his home office, he cleans his desk, writes 3 priorities on a sticky note, and stages everything he'll need. He sleeps better because tomorrow is handled. He wakes clearer because decisions are already made. But here's the crucial 4th step, evening reflection. Seneca wrote, "I make use of this privilege and daily plead my case before myself. When the lamp is taken away and my wife has fallen silent, I examine the whole day and measure what I have done and said. Take 5 minutes to review today. What went well? What could improve? What did you learn?" This isn't self-flagellation. It's data gathering for continuous improvement. The ancient Stoics understood that anxiety about tomorrow often keeps us from being present today. By handling tomorrow's logistics tonight, you free your mind to actually be here now. This is counterintuitive. The more you prepare for the future, the more present you become. Seneca called this the premeditation of evils, not to become pessimistic, but to become unshakable. Modern research validates what Seneca knew intuitively. Decision fatigue is real. Your willpower is finite. Every choice depletes your mental resources. By front-loading decisions to the evening when you're still relatively fresh, you preserve tomorrow's mental energy for what matters. Deep work, creative thinking, meaningful connections. The evening setup also serves as a bridge between work and rest. Instead of carrying mental residue into your personal time, you're creating closure. Everything is handled. Tomorrow is prepared. you can actually relax. As Seneca wrote, "The mind that is anxious about future events is miserable, but the mind that has prepared for future events is peaceful." Here's what not to do. Don't turn this into another stressful obligation. If you miss a night, simply resume the next evening. Don't spend 30 minutes perfecting your setup. 15 minutes max. Don't plan every minute of tomorrow. Just remove friction from the predictable parts. The goal is ease, not perfection. Resistance will whisper, "I'm too tired to prep tonight." That's exactly when you need it most. The more exhausted you are, the more your tomorrow self needs tonight self's help. Think of it as sending reinforcements to future you who'll be fighting tomorrow's battles. As Seneca reminded us, it is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more who is poor. The cumulative effect is profound. After a week of evening setups, your mornings transform from reactive scrambles to calm executions. After a month, you'll notice you're consistently hitting your 3 priorities. After a year, you'll have built an invisible architecture that supports your best self. Therefore, tonight, before you sleep, gift yourself 15 minutes of preparation. Review tomorrow's reality, prepare your environment, choose 3 priorities, and reflect on today. Let Seneca's wisdom turn your evenings into launch pads and your mornings into victories. Having designed tomorrow tonight, you're ready to discover the power of surrendering to something larger than yourself. Habit 6. Find your daily accountability squad. You can't build a Stoic life in isolation. Even Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man in Rome, surrounded himself with philosophical advisors. The ancient Stoics had a name for this: the Scipionic Circle, a group of thinkers who met regularly to challenge, support, and elevate each other. Your daily habits need the same kind of backup. It's time to find your squad. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Willpower is overrated. Studies show that people with strong social support succeed at habit change 95% more often than those going solo. The Stoics knew this 2,000 years ago. Seneca didn't just write letters to himself. He had Lucilius. Epictetus didn't teach in a vacuum. He had devoted students who kept each other accountable. Even the emperor needed his circle. Meet David from Portland. For 3 years, he tried to establish a morning workout routine. Failed every time. Then he found 2 neighbors with the same goal. They created a simple system: 6 a.m. text check-ins. "I'm up. Heading out. Done." That's it. No lengthy conversations, no elaborate tracking apps. Just 3 humans holding each other to their word. 6 months later, all 3 have missed fewer than 5 days. The Stoics called this sympathia, mutual connection and interdependence. Not dependency, but healthy accountability. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "What is not good for the swarm is not good for the bee." Your individual success contributes to the group's success, and their success reinforces yours. It's a virtuous cycle that makes everyone stronger. Here's how to build your daily accountability squad starting today. First, identify 1 to 3 people, not 10, not a Facebook group of hundreds. Real accountability requires real relationships. These could be friends, colleagues, family members, or even strangers with shared goals. The key is mutual commitment to daily check-ins. Second, establish your check-in protocol. Keep it simple. Sarah in Austin and her accountability partner send each other a single emoji every morning after meditation. Green check for completed, red X for missed, yellow circle for modified. 30 seconds total. The simplicity is the sustainability. Seneca advised, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more who is poor." Don't crave complex systems. Crave consistency. Third, create consequences and rewards. The Stoics believed in natural consequences. If Marcus in Brooklyn misses his morning pages 3 days in a row, he owes his accountability partner coffee. If he hits 30 days straight, they celebrate with a philosophical book discussion. Small stakes, but real enough to matter. Consider Jennifer, a designer in Seattle, struggling with evening phone addiction. She tried every app, every trick, every self-help technique. Nothing stuck until she formed a digital sunset squad with 2 friends. Every night at 9 p.m., they text "phone down" and don't touch devices until morning. If someone breaks the pact, they donate $20 to a cause the others choose. Simple, social, effective. But here's what makes Stoic accountability different from regular buddy systems. It's based on virtue, not just behavior. Your squad doesn't just check if you did your habits. They check if you're becoming who you want to be. Epictetus taught, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." Your squad helps you want the right things. The daily aspect is crucial. Weekly check-ins lose momentum. Monthly meetings become easy to skip. But daily connection creates what the Stoics called discipline of action. Consistent, repeated practice that shapes character. It's the difference between occasional contact and true philosophical friendship. Modern technology makes this easier than ever. A simple group text, a shared spreadsheet, a Marco Polo video check-in. The Stoics would have loved these tools are not for their novelty, but for their ability to maintain a philosophical connection across distance. Seneca's letters to Lucilius were the ancient version of accountability texts. Here's the key. Your squad must share your commitment to growth, not perfection. When someone fails, the response isn't judgment but curiosity. What happened? What can we learn? How can we adjust? This is what Stoics called sympathetic joy, celebrating progress and learning from setbacks together. The resistance to finding a squad is revealing. I don't want to bother anyone. Growth isn't bothersome. I should be able to do this alone. Even emperors needed support. What if I let them down? What if you lift them up? Every excuse is ego disguised as humility. True humility accepts help. Start small. Today, text one person, "I'm working on habit. Want to do daily check-ins." Most people are craving this kind of meaningful connection. You're not asking for their time, you're offering them accountability too. As Marcus Aurelius noted, "What brings no benefit to the hive brings none to the bee." Your squad doesn't need to be perfect or permanent. People's schedules change, goals evolve, life happens. What matters is that today, right now, you have at least one person who knows what you're building and checks that you're building it. That external expectation becomes internal motivation. Therefore, before the day's end, reach out to form your squad. One text, one conversation, one commitment to daily accountability. Transform your solo struggle into shared strength. The Stoics built philosophy together. You can build habits the same way. With your daily accountability established, you're ready to make conscious choices about who influences your life every single day. Habit 7. Choose your tribe every single day. You become the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. When Epictetus said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid with regard to external things," he was really saying, choose your tribe wisely, because they'll shape who you become. Every single day, you're either consciously selecting your influences or unconsciously absorbing them. The ancient Stoics understood social influence like few others. They watched senators become corrupt by associating with corrupt senators. They saw philosophers lose their way by spending time with flatterers. Marcus Aurelius, despite being emperor, carefully chose his daily companions not for their status, but for their character. He knew that even an emperor's virtue could be eroded by the wrong tribe. Let me show you what this looks like today. Amanda, a marketing director in Los Angeles, noticed she was becoming increasingly cynical. Every lunch with her coworkers was a complaint festival. Every happy hour was a negativity spiral. She didn't quit her job. She changed her daily social choices. She started eating lunch with the creative team instead of the gossip crew. She scheduled morning coffees with mentors. She joined an evening running group. Same workplace, completely different energy. Within 3 months, her entire outlook transformed. The Stoics called harmful social influence corruption of character. It's not dramatic, it's gradual. You don't notice you're complaining more until it's your default. You don't realize you're drinking more until it's every night. You don't see your ambition dying until it's gone. As Seneca warned, every new thing excites the mind, but a mind that seeks truth turns from the new and superficial to the old and profound. Here's your daily practice. Each morning, after declaring your identity, make 3 conscious social choices. First, who will you seek out today? Choose at least one interaction with someone who elevates you, a mentor, an inspiring colleague, or that friend who always sees possibilities. Text them now. Schedule that coffee. Make it happen. Second, who will you limit today? Identify energy vampires and time thieves. You don't need to be rude or cut people off. Just be strategic. That coworker who always wants to gossip? Sorry, I'm heads down on a project. That friend who only calls to complain? Can only chat for 5 minutes today. Protect your mental space like a Stoic guards their virtue. Third, who will you serve today? The Stoics believed in circles of concern, expanding your care from self to family to community to humanity. Choose one person to genuinely help today, not to get something back, but to practice virtue. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "What brings no benefit to the hive brings none to the bee." Consider Tom in Chicago, surrounded by drinking buddies from college. Every evening was bars, complaints, and hangovers. He didn't abandon his friends. He expanded his tribe. He joined a morning workout crew. He found a philosophy discussion group. He started volunteering on weekends. His drinking buddies are still friends, but they're no longer his primary influence. He chose addition over subtraction. The daily aspect is what makes this powerful. It's not about making one big decision to change your social circle. It's about small, daily choices. Today, you eat lunch alone with a book instead of with the complainers. Tomorrow, you call your ambitious friend instead of scrolling social media. Each choice is a vote for who you're becoming. Digital tribes count too. Your Instagram feed, your podcast subscriptions, your YouTube recommendations, These are all tribal influences. The Stoics would be appalled at how carelessly we curate our digital influences. Every follow is a choice. Every subscription shapes your mind. Choose like your character depends on it. Because it does. Here's the hard truth. Some relationships need boundaries. That family member who always criticizes, limit exposure. That friend who enables your worst habits, create distance. The Stoics weren't cruel. They were clear. Seneca wrote, "Associate with those who will make a better person of you. Welcome those whom you can improve." Notice it's bidirectional. Good relationships elevate both people. But don't become a social climber or a user. The goal isn't to collect successful people like Pokemon cards. It's to surround yourself with virtue, regardless of status. The janitor with incredible wisdom matters more than the CEO with no character. Choose based on values, not valuations. The resistance will be strong. But they're family. You can love from a distance. We've been friends forever. Past connection doesn't justify present corruption. I don't want to seem judgmental. Choosing your influences isn't judgment. It's wisdom. Every excuse keeps you trapped in tribal mediocrity. Here's a practical framework. Divide your relationships into 3 categories. Radiators, people who give off warmth and energy. Drains, people who suck you dry. Neutral, people who neither elevate nor diminish. Actively increase time with radiators, decrease time with drains, and be intentional about neutrals. Remember, you're not just choosing for yourself. You're part of other people's tribes too. Ask yourself, am I a radiator or a drain? Make sure you're the kind of tribal member you'd want to have. Give energy, share wisdom, celebrate others' wins. Be the rising tide that lifts all boats. Therefore, starting tomorrow, make your 3 daily tribal choices. Seek 1 elevator, limit 1 drain, serve 1 person. Do this for 30 days and watch your energy, ambition, and character transform. You can't choose your family, but you can choose your influences. Choose wisely. Choose daily. Choose like the Stoics. Having chosen your tribe consciously, you're ready to create space for what matters by eliminating what doesn't. Habit 8. Delete 1 distraction daily. The subtraction method. Michelangelo was asked how he created David from a block of marble. His answer? I simply removed everything that wasn't David. The Stoics understood this principle deeply. Wisdom isn't about adding more knowledge, practices, or possessions. It's about subtracting what doesn't serve you. Every single day, you must chisel away 1 distraction that's keeping you from your best self. Epictetus put it bluntly, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. But look at your life. How many apps are on your phone? How many subscriptions drain your bank account? How many commitments steal your time? How many notifications fracture your attention? You're not living, you're drowning in options. Watch Rebecca, a software engineer in San Francisco. She had 47 apps on her phone, 6 streaming services, 12 magazine subscriptions, and belonged to 4 professional organizations she never engaged with. Every surface in her apartment was cluttered. Every minute was scheduled. She felt perpetually behind. Then she discovered the subtraction method. Delete 1 thing daily. Day 1. Unsubscribed from 1 email list. Day 2. Deleted 1 unused app. Day 3. Canceled 1 subscription. Tiny subtractions. After 90 days, her life was unrecognizable, spacious, focused, intentional. The Stoics called unnecessary things preferred indifference. Nice to have but not essential for virtue. The problem? We've turned indifference into essentials. That news app isn't keeping you informed. It's keeping you anxious. That social media scroll isn't connecting you. It's comparing you. That 17th productivity tool isn't organizing you. It's overwhelming you. Here's your daily practice. Each morning, identify one thing to subtract from your life. Start small. Today, delete 1 app you haven't used in a month. Tomorrow, unsubscribe from 1 email list. The next day, remove 1 item from your desk. The key is daily consistency, not dramatic purges. Marcus Aurelius, managing an empire, wrote, "Ask yourself at every moment, is this necessary? Because most of what we say and do is not essential. If you can eliminate it, you'll have more time and more tranquility." The emperor understood that addition without subtraction leads to suffocation. Consider Daniel in Miami, addicted to information. 5 news apps, 3 podcast apps, YouTube Premium, LinkedIn Learning, Masterclass, Audible. He consumed 12 hours of content daily but applied none of it. The subtraction method saved him. Day by day, he deleted sources of input. Not all at once, that's unsustainable. 1 podcast today, 1 news source tomorrow. After a month, he was down to 3 carefully chosen inputs. The result? He actually started applying what he learned. But subtraction isn't just digital. Physical clutter clouds mental clarity. That junk drawer? Subtract 1 item daily. That overflowing closet? 1 piece of clothing per day. That garage you can't park in? 1 box at a time. Seneca wrote, "Every new thing excites the mind, but a mind that seeks truth turns from the new and superficial to the old and profound." You can't see the profound when you're buried in the superficial. The resistance will be fierce. But what if I need it someday? You won't. But it was expensive. Sunk cost fallacy. But it was a gift. Keep the gratitude. Lose the guilt. Your brain will manufacture 1,000 reasons to keep every distraction. That's exactly why you need a systematic approach. 1 deletion daily. No negotiations. Here's what most people miss. Distractions aren't just things. They're commitments. That committee you joined but never attended? Subtract it. That weekly meeting that produces nothing? Eliminate it. That social obligation you dread? Politely decline. As Epictetus taught, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid with regard to external things. Let people think you're missing out. You're actually finding focus. The compound effect is staggering. Delete 1 distraction daily for a year. That's 365 fewer things cluttering your life. But it's not about the number. It's about the clarity. Each subtraction creates space. Space for thinking. Space for creating. Space for being. The Stoics called this autarkia, self-sufficiency through simplicity. Start a subtraction list. Every night during your Seneca setup, write tomorrow's deletion target. Be specific. Not declutter desk, but remove old coffee mug. Not reduce notifications, but turn off Instagram alerts. Specificity ensures execution. Vagueness ensures procrastination. The advanced level, subtract mental distractions too. That grudge you're holding, delete it through forgiveness. That worry about next year, subtract it from the present focus. That comparison to your successful friend, remove it through gratitude. Marcus Aurelius mastered this. Confine yourself to the present. You can't confine yourself when you're carrying mental baggage. But don't become a minimalism extremist. The goal isn't to live in an empty room with one spoon. It's to subtract the non-essential so the essential can breathe. Keep what serves your virtue and values. Delete what doesn't. The Stoics weren't ascetics. They were editors, constantly refining life to its best version. Therefore, right now, pick tomorrow's subtraction. Open your phone and identify one app to delete. Look at your desk and choose one item to remove. Check your calendar and find one commitment to cancel. Start small, stay consistent, and watch as space emerges in your life for what truly matters. Having cleared the clutter, you're ready to develop the daily practice that protects your newly created space. Habit 9. Practice your daily no. Build refusal strength. Every yes you give is a no to something else. The Stoics understood this mathematics of time. When you say yes to that unnecessary meeting, you say no to deep work. When you say yes to that toxic friend's drama, you say no to peace. When you say yes to scrolling, you say no to sleep. The problem? Most of us have never trained our non-muscle. It's time to build refusal strength. Epictetus, born a slave, understood the power of no better than anyone. He couldn't say no to his master's commands, but he could say no to letting those commands define his inner life. No one can hurt you without your permission, he taught. Your daily no practice isn't about being difficult. It's about being disciplined. It's about choosing your life instead of letting others choose it for you. Meet Jessica, a project manager in Atlanta. She was everyone's favorite person because she never said no. Extra project? Sure. Weekend work? No problem. Can you cover for me? Of course. She was drowning in other people's priorities. Then she started the daily no practice. One deliberate no per day. Day 1. No, I can't take on that extra task. Day 2. No, I won't check emails after 7 p.m. Day 3. No, I can't attend that optional meeting. Small numbers, big life change. Within 2 months, she'd reclaimed 20 hours per week. The Stoics called this prohairesis, your power of choice, the one thing truly under your control. But choice means nothing if you only ever choose yes. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Saying no is exercising power over your mind. Here's your practice. Every single day, say no to one request, invitation, or demand that doesn't align with your values or priorities. Not maybe, not let me think about it. Clear, polite, firm no. Start small. Today, say no to that marketing email asking for just 15 minutes of your time. Tomorrow, decline that meeting with no clear agenda. Build your refusal muscle gradually. Seneca, one of Rome's richest men, regularly practiced voluntary discomfort. He'd sleep on the floor, eat simple food, and wear rough clothes. Why? To prove he could say no to luxury. Set aside a certain number of days, during which you shall be content with the scantiest and cheapest fare, with coarse and rough dress, saying to yourself the while, "Is this the condition that I feared?" Your daily no builds the same strength, proof you can refuse what others can't. Consider Michael in Denver, addicted to being helpful. Every Slack message got an instant response. Every favor got a yes. Every committee got a volunteer. He was exhausted, resentful, and behind on his own goals. The daily no changed everything. He started simple. No to instant responses. He batch-checked messages 3 times daily. No to lunch meetings. He protected that time for focused work. No to weekend emails. Boundaries matter. His productivity soared. His relationships improved. Why? He had energy for the yes that mattered. But here's the key. Your no must be strategic, not reactive. Don't say no to everything like a toddler. Say no to protect your yes. What are your 3 essential priorities? Say yes to what serves them, no to what doesn't. The Stoics called this the discipline of desire, wanting the right things and refusing the wrong ones. The advanced practice involves internal numbers. No to checking your phone first thing. No to that second glass of wine. No to engaging with that inflammatory social media post. No to ruminating on that criticism. As Epictetus taught, don't explain your philosophy. Embody it. Every internal no embodies your philosophy. People will push back, but it'll only take a minute. It never does. But I really need your help. They need to find another solution. But you always say yes. Exactly the problem. Stand firm. Your no is a complete sentence. You don't owe elaborate explanations. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire with strategic numbers. You can manage your life the same way. Here's a practical script. I appreciate you thinking of me, but I can't commit to that right now. Period. Don't say maybe later unless you mean it. Don't apologize excessively. Don't lie about why. Just decline with grace and move on. The Stoics valued honesty over false politeness. Track your numbers. Keep a simple tally in your journal. Notice patterns. Are you saying no to the same people? The same types of requests? The same time wasters? This data reveals where you've been losing your life. As Seneca observed, nothing, to my way of thinking, is a better proof of a well-ordered mind than a man's ability to stop just where he is and pass some time in his own company. The paradox? The more you practice no, the more valuable your yes becomes. When Jessica stopped saying yes to everything, people started respecting her time. When Michael created boundaries, his contributions carried more weight. Your daily no doesn't make you less generous. It makes you more intentional. Some days, finding a no feels forced. Good. Do it anyway. That slight discomfort is growth. You're building a muscle that atrophies in our people-pleasing culture. Other days, you'll face a buffet of no opportunities. Choose the hardest one. That's where real strength develops. Therefore, before today ends, identify tomorrow's no. What request will you decline? What boundary will you set? What internal urge will you refuse? Write it down. Prepare your response. Then execute without apology. Your future self, the one with time, energy, and focus for what matters, will thank you. Having built your refusal strength, you're ready to carry physical reminders of your philosophical commitments throughout each day. Habit 10. Carry your why everywhere. Pocket philosophy. The Roman soldiers who conquered the known world carried more than weapons. They carried small tokens inscribed with virtues, reminders of who they were fighting to become. Marcus Aurelius himself wore a ring engraved with a skull, a daily reminder of mortality. The Stoics understood what modern psychology is just discovering. Physical objects anchor abstract principles in daily reality. Your philosophy needs to live in your pocket, not just your head. Seneca wrote, "Every new thing excites the mind, but a mind that seeks truth turns from the new and superficial to the old and profound." What's more profound than carrying 2,000 years of wisdom in your pocket? What's older than the human need for tangible reminders of intangible truths? Let me tell you about Carlos in Phoenix. Successful entrepreneur, terrible temper. He'd studied anger management, read the Stoic texts, knew all the theory. Nothing stuck until he started carrying a smooth river stone in his pocket. Every time his hand touched it, he remembered Marcus Aurelius. How much trouble he avoids who does not look to see what his neighbor says or does. That stone became his pause button. 6 months later, his team noticed the transformation. The philosophy finally lived in his body, not just his brain. The Stoics called these objects hypomnemata, physical aids to memory and practice. They weren't superstitious talismans, but practical tools. A coin to remember life's brevity, a ring to recall virtue, a small scroll with a key passage. These objects served as bridges between intention and action, philosophy and practice. Here's your practice. Choose one physical object to carry daily that embodies your core Stoic principle. It should be small enough to always have with you, durable enough to last, and meaningful enough to matter. When your hand finds it throughout the day, in your pocket, on your keychain, around your neck, let it trigger a moment of philosophical reflection. Sarah in Seattle struggled with people-pleasing until she started carrying a small compass. Every time she felt pressured to say yes, she'd touch it and ask, "What's my true north here?" The compass reminded her that her direction mattered more than others' destinations. Physical reminder, philosophical practice. But don't just carry any object. Choose with intention. A coin with memento mori, remember death, keeps urgency alive. A small stone represents Stoic steadfastness. A key reminds you that you hold the key to your own peace. A ring symbolizes your commitment to virtue. The object itself matters less than what it represents to you. Marcus Aurelius wrote his meditations while campaigning, surrounded by death and chaos. He needed constant reminders of what mattered. Your modern life might not include literal battles, but you face 1,000 daily wars against distraction, temptation, and mediocrity. Your pocket philosophy is your armor. Consider David in Boston, recovering from addiction. He carries a bronze coin that says, "Just for today," on one side and the Serenity Prayer on the other. But he's added his own Stoic twist. When temptation strikes, he holds the coin and recites Epictetus. No one can hurt you without your permission. The physical weight of the coin gives weight to the philosophical principle. The practice deepens over time. Week 1, you'll forget you're carrying it. Week 2, you'll remember occasionally. By week 4, your hand will instinctively reach for it during challenging moments. That's when philosophy becomes embodied practice. As Epictetus taught, don't explain your philosophy. Embody it. Modern life offers endless options for pocket philosophy. custom coins, engraved keychains, bracelet reminders, even phone wallpapers. Though physical objects work better, they engage more senses. The key is consistency. Same object, every day, building neural pathways between touch and wisdom. Here's what not to do. Don't collect a dozen different tokens. Don't switch objects weekly. Don't choose something so valuable you're afraid to lose it. Don't pick something so large it's inconvenient. The perfect pocket philosophy is forgettable until you need it, then unforgettable when you do. The resistance sounds like, I don't need props for philosophy. Roman emperors disagreed. It feels silly, sillier than living without reminders. What if people ask about it? Perfect opportunity to share Stoic wisdom. Every excuse is ego-preventing practice. True wisdom uses every tool available. Advanced practitioners layer meanings. Jennifer in LA carries a simple brass key. To others, it's just a key. To her, it represents unlocking wisdom. The key to peace is within and opening doors for others. One object, multiple philosophical triggers. The depth of meaning grows with practice. Some days, your pocket philosophy saves you. Stuck in traffic, hand finds coin, remembers, you have power over your mind, not outside events. About to send angry email, fingers touch stone, pause. How much more grievous are the consequences of anger than the causes of it? Small touch, big shift. Create a ritual around your object. When you put it in your pocket each morning, set an intention. When you remove it each night, reflect on how it served you. This bookends your day with philosophical practice. Seneca advised reviewing each day. Let your pocket philosophy be part of that review. Therefore, today, choose your object. Visit a craft store, browse online, or find something you already own. The perfect pocket philosophy is the one you'll actually carry. Tomorrow morning, put it in your pocket with purpose. Let ancient wisdom travel with you through modern chaos. Make philosophy tangible, portable, practical. Habit 11. Reset every night. The Stoic Evening Review. The day is dying. In ancient Rome, Seneca sits by candlelight, reviewing his actions like a judge reviewing a case. Not to punish himself, but to prepare for tomorrow's victory. When the light has been removed and my wife has fallen silent, he wrote, I examine the entire day and go back over what I've done and said, hiding nothing from myself, passing nothing by. This nightly reset isn't just a reflection, it's resurrection. Every evening, you can die to who you were and be reborn as who you're becoming. Most people collapse into bed, minds racing with unprocessed experiences, unresolved tensions, and tomorrow's anxieties. They carry today's failures into tomorrow's possibilities. The Stoics knew better. They understood that wisdom comes not from experience, but from reflecting on experience. Your evening review is where raw life becomes refined wisdom. Watch Lisa in Chicago. For years, her nights were Netflix binges and wine, trying to forget stressful days. Insomnia plagued her. Mornings felt like extensions of yesterday's chaos. Then she discovered the Stoic Evening Review. Now, before bed, she spends 10 minutes examining her day through 3 questions. What did I do well? Where did I fall short? What did I learn? Simple questions, profound transformation. She sleeps better, wakes clearer, and most importantly, she stops repeating the same mistakes. Marcus Aurelius, fighting Germanic tribes, still found time for evening reflection. Be like the rocky headland on which the waves constantly break. It stands firm, and round it the seething waters are laid to rest. Your evening review is how you become that headland, processing the day's waves so they don't crash into tomorrow. Here's your practice. Set a phone alarm for 9 p.m. labeled Stoic Reset. When it rings, stop whatever you're doing. Find a quiet space. Take out your journal. Spend exactly 10 minutes reviewing your day through the Stoic lens. Not 20 minutes of rumination. Not 5 minutes of surface skimming. 10 minutes of honest examination. Follow this framework. First, acknowledge what went well. Where did you act with wisdom, justice, courage, or temperance? Don't skip this. The Stoics celebrated virtue, not just correct advice. I stayed calm when criticized. I helped a colleague without expecting thanks. I said no to that wasteful meeting. Small victories matter. Second, examine where you fell short without self-flagellation. Where did you act against your values? I lost patience with my kids. I procrastinated on the important project. I gossiped about a coworker. State facts, not judgments. As Epictetus taught, it's not things themselves that disturb us, but our judgments about those things. Third, extract the lesson. What did today teach you? Every failure contains wisdom if you look. I lose patience when hungry. I need to eat before family time. I procrastinate when the task feels overwhelming. I need to break it into smaller pieces. I gossip when I'm insecure. I need to address my confidence. Turn wounds into wisdom. Consider Robert in Miami, a surgeon with a God complex. His evening review revealed a pattern. He dismissed nurses' suggestions, then later realized they were right. The review forced honesty. He started each surgery with a new practice. What am I not seeing? His error rate dropped. His team's morale soared. The evening mirror showed him what daily ego hid. But here's crucial. End with tomorrow's intention. Based on today's review, what's one specific thing you'll do differently tomorrow? Not a vague promise, a concrete action. When I feel impatience rising, I'll take 3 breaths. I'll tackle the project first thing before email. When tempted to gossip, I'll change the subject. Plant tomorrow's seed in tonight's soil. The advanced practice includes reviewing your habits. Did you do your morning identity declaration? Guard your first hour? Journal? Check in with your accountability squad? Don't judge harshly, just notice patterns. Maybe you skip journaling when you sleep poorly. Maybe you forget your daily no when work gets hectic. Awareness enables adjustment. Resistance whispers, "This is self-indulgent navel-gazing." Wrong. This is self-improvement through self-awareness. Seneca managed vast wealth and political power. He needed an evening review to stay grounded. You're managing a life, you need it too. 10 minutes of reflection prevents years of repetition. Create a ritual. Same time, same place, same process. Light a candle if it helps. Play quiet music. Make it sacred without being precious. The Stoics were practical philosophers. Your review should feel like useful work, not mystical meditation. You're a craftsman improving your craft, and the craft is living well. Some nights, the review stings. You'll see patterns you've ignored, failures you've rationalized, potential you've wasted. Good. That discomfort is growth. As Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, what stands in the way becomes the way. Your failures, reviewed honestly, become your curriculum for improvement. Other nights, you'll surprise yourself with progress. The identity you declared in the morning actually held throughout the day. The boundary you set stayed firm. The distraction you deleted stayed gone. Celebrate these victories. The Stoics weren't joyless. They simply found joy in virtue rather than vice. Therefore, tonight at 9 p.m., conduct your first Stoic evening review. 10 minutes, 3 questions, 1 intention for tomorrow. End each day by consciously closing it. Start each tomorrow with yesterday's wisdom. Let every sunset be a small death and every sunrise a small birth. This is how ordinary days become an extraordinary life. With your nightly reset practice established, you've completed the cycle of 11 daily habits that transform ancient wisdom into modern excellence. Your 11 daily habits start right now. Join the Stoic revolution. You've just discovered 11 daily habits that Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus used to build unshakable character in the face of chaos. But here's the truth that separates philosophers from practitioners. Knowledge without action is worthless. The Stoics didn't just think about wisdom. They lived it, breathed it, carried it in their pockets, and practiced it in their evening reviews. Right now, in this moment, you stand at a crossroads. One path leads back to your old patterns, reactive mornings, scattered days, unconscious influences, and repeated mistakes. The other path leads to intentional living, where you start stupidly small, guard your first hour like an emperor, choose your tribe wisely, and reset every night for tomorrow's victory. The ancient Stoics faced plagues, wars, exile, and slavery. They didn't have smartphones, but they had distractions. They didn't have social media, but they had social pressure. They didn't have your exact challenges, but they had the same human struggles. And they conquered them using these exact practices you now possess. Here's what makes Stoic Vivu different. We don't just study philosophy, we live it. Every video on this channel takes ancient wisdom and makes it work in your modern life. No academic lectures, no abstract theories, just practical wisdom that changes real lives, starting with yours. Your journey begins with a single choice. Pick one habit from today's 11. Just one. Maybe it's the Zeno 1% method because you're overwhelmed. Maybe it's the evening review because you keep repeating mistakes. Maybe it's carrying pocket philosophy because you need constant reminders. Choose the one that spoke to your soul. Tomorrow morning, start. Not next Monday. Not January 1st. Tomorrow. Because as Marcus Aurelius wrote, at dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, I have to go to work as a human being. What do I have to complain of? If I'm going to do what I was born for, the things I was brought into the world to do. You were brought into this world to be extraordinary. Not perfect, the Stoics never demanded perfection. But extraordinary in your commitment to daily improvement, your courage to say no, your wisdom to choose influences, your discipline to protect morning peace. If this video opened your eyes to what's possible, hit subscribe right now. Stoic Vivu releases practical philosophy every day. That notification bell? Turn it on. Not for mindless consumption, but for weekly reminders that you're part of something bigger, a modern Stoic revolution. Share this video with one person who needs these habits. Maybe it's your accountability partner. Maybe it's someone struggling with the same chaos you're conquering. The Stoics built their philosophy in community. Build yours the same way. Like this video if you're committed to starting even one habit tomorrow. Your like isn't just a number, it's a declaration. It tells the algorithm to spread this wisdom. More importantly, it tells yourself you're serious about change. Your transformation starts with tomorrow's sunrise. Will you wake up the same, or will you start stupidly small? Will you grab your phone, or guard your hour? Will you drift through another day, or design it tonight? The choice, the only thing truly under your control, is yours. The Stoics are watching. More importantly, your future self is watching. Make them proud. Start now. Start small. Start anyway.